Our keynote speaker for the inauguration is Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi. We are delighted to have Congressman Krishnamoorthi join us from Chicago. We've had an interesting dialogue over time, but it's been remarkable that he's made this trip and is here in our midst. And so we are indeed delighted to have him as our keynote speaker for the inauguration. Congressman Krishnamoorthi represents the 8th District in Illinois. He has had an illustrious career outside of politics, too. He was the valedictorian of his class in Peoria, Illinois. He then got a degree in mechanical engineering with high honors from Princeton. And that not being enough, he got a law degree from Harvard Law School. So clearly, you have the credentials of someone that is special. Also, his Harvard Law School sojourn may have had something to do with his close contact and relationship with President Obama. As I read, the first time he worked for President Obama's campaign was in the year 2000, and then worked for a more successful campaign in 2004 for President Obama. So he's a close lieutenant of our president, former president. He's also been the Special Assistant Attorney General of Illinois. He's also been the Illinois Deputy Treasurer, and then has actually gone and done real-life work in business and law, but never gave up his service to the community, to the poor, and those that are less privileged. So we are indeed extremely proud of Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi, and we are delighted that he is here with us. I'm going to invite Congressman to come, and I'm also going to invite Dr. Saxena to come up and please give Congressman Krishnamoorthi a plaque on our behalf. Please, Congressman.
Good morning. I am honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I am honored to be at this first U.S.-India Friendship Summit. When Dr. Singh called me and said, we'd like you to come, I said, wow, I like you, the United States, I like India, and I like friendship, so count me in. So I'm here. I should get one thing out of the way very quickly, which is everywhere I go in Illinois, I get asked one question, which is, what does Raja Krishnamoorthi mean? Where did you get that funny name and what does it mean? So I say it's very simple. Translated from an ancient Indian language, it actually means Congressman for the 8th District of Illinois. I was auspiciously named. I'd like to observe the 3 rules of keynote speaking in this session, which is be short, be sweet, and be gone. And so I only have 3 points that I'd like to make in this opening session. The first is I'd like to say thank you to the organizers of this wonderful summit. I'd like to thank Creighton University and its provost, Dr. Tim Murray, the Indian Association of Nebraska, and the conveners, Dr. Sanjay Singh, Dr. Gangahar, Dr. Adidad, and all the others for putting together this wonderful summit. Can you give them a big round of applause? I'd also like to recognize all the dignitaries that I'm aware of that are here today. My good friend, Congressman Jeff Fortenberry, is supposed to speak. Mr. Tarun Vijay, a former MP from India. Dr. Shashi Tharoor, a superstar and former Undersecretary General of the United Nations. Secretary and Governor Joe Hans. Jim Clifton, the CEO of Gallup. Mary Kane, the president of the Sister City International, and Charles Morrison, the former president of the East-West Center. Can you give them a big Nebraska round of applause? Now, I represent, let me segue to my second point, which is where do I represent and why am I there? Why am I in the U.S. Congress? I represent the 8th Congressional District of Illinois. That's all the suburbs west of O'Hare International Airport. Now, you may be familiar with this area. The center, the epicenter of this particular congressional district is a place called Schaumburg, Illinois. And I see a lot of heads nodding in the audience because you know that this congressional district has one of the greatest concentrations of Indian Americans of any congressional district anywhere in the United States of America. In fact, it has so many Indian Americans that there are 10,000 registered voters with the surname Patel. In fact, my wife Priya and I have 3 children. Vijay, who's 12, Vikram, who's 8, and baby Sonia Lakshmi, who's 1. And the 12-year-old is on a basketball team of 8 people, 5 of whom are Indian American, and both coaches are Indian American. And so someone came up to me the other day, and he said, "Raja, that team must be very bad." And I said, "You don't understand. Every other team in this league looks the same. So it's very fair and balanced, just like Fox News." And so if you go to one of these basketball games, you would have thought that you walked into the local prayer session of the local mandir. Because from the stands ring out shouts of "Go Ram" and "Go Sham," "Go Gita," "Go Hari." And so it's both an athletic and a spiritual experience. So it's only appropriate that this congressional district elect an Indian American to the United States Congress. But the reason why I was able to reach the United States Congress is very simple. It's very simple. And that reason is you. That reason is you. Because like my family, many of you came to this country with nothing in your pockets, but you brought your culture, you brought your traditions, you brought your values, and you brought your work ethic. And you worked tirelessly day and night to put food on the table for your families, a roof over their heads. You educated your beautiful children, and now look at you. You are a success in the greatest country the world has ever known, the United States of America. And you are the pride of one of the greatest civilizations the world has ever known, India. And so I stand on your shoulders to reach for the stars, to be in the world's greatest deliberative body, the United States Congress. And so although my name is Raja Krishnamoorthi, it might as well be Raja Singh, a Raja Gangahar, a Raja Patel, a Raja Rao, a Raja Reddy. The point is this: although you may not live in my congressional district in Illinois, I aspire to represent you in the United States Congress. Thank you. I aspire to represent your values. I aspire to represent your hopes and your aspirations and your dreams for you, your families, your children and grandchildren. In short, I aspire to represent all that makes you good, great, decent, and a vital part of the United States of America in Washington, D.C. And so I segue to my third and final point, which is this. I am one of 4 Indian Americans in the United States Congress. I affectionately call us the Samosa Caucus. You are looking at one of the samosas. And I am proud to be Indian American. I'm proud to be Desi. I'm proud of my values, and I'm proud of you. And I will always be proud of you. And so although my constituency, which basically numbers between 750,000 and 1 million people, the vast majority of whom are not Desi, I still want to promulgate the interests, the shared interests between the world's biggest democracy and the world's oldest democracy. And so these are some of the measures that I've taken in the US Congress that might be of interest to you. I'm an original co-sponsor of a resolution calling on the United Nations to make India a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Do you agree with me on this? It's about time. And I think Dr. Tharoor would agree with me. I'm also a sponsor of HR 342, which removes the per-country caps that penalize Indians and H-1B holders. Do you agree with me on this? I'm the only member of the United States Congress that called out the Chinese on the Doklam Plateau. Regardless of what we may think about the Chinese-US relationship, no country should throw its elbows and thereby create provocations and escalate tensions on its borders with any country in the world.
Thank you.
I'm proud to have stood up against hate and terrorism, whether it's terrorism against Amarnath Yatris or the cold-blooded murder of Srinivas Kochibotla in Kansas City. And so I'm the original co-sponsor of a bill that creates a bipartisan hate crimes commission in this country, one that uses the great talents of Republicans and Democrats to figure out what is the reason behind the rise in prejudice or bigotry or hatred anywhere in the country against anybody. And let's try to put a stop to this. And finally, I'm also somebody who's very sensitive to what I call the otherization of Indian Americans. Whether it's CNN making Hinduism out to be something that it is not, or whether it's an anchor who would somehow mistreat a spelling bee champion, or anything that would remove us from the mainstream of this country. And to that end, I'm also about trying to bring the next generation into public service. So I am proud to have the most Desi members of any congressional staff in the US Congress. I have had 26 interns this past summer, the majority of whom were Desi in Washington and Chicago. If you just added a Bollywood soundtrack, you would get the picture. And I hope some of you will consider participating more in our democracy, participating in government service, and perhaps even running for Congress someday, although not in my congressional district. I'll conclude with one anecdote. I visited India for the first time as a United States Congressman in August. I was a guest of the Foreign Ministry for 3 days in New Delhi. They introduced me to numerous members of Parliament, but the biggest meeting was a one-on-one sit-down with Prime Minister Modi. The first thing I said to the Prime Minister is, thank you for having me at your beautiful residence. You tout the principle of make in India. Make in India. I should tell you that I was born at Wellington Hospital, not far from this beautiful residence, and you could say that I was made in India too. Indeed, I was made in India. I'm proud to have been made in India, but I was raised in Illinois, in Peoria, Illinois, and now together in this room, we are transforming America. And that is what this summit is about. We are transforming America to be a better America. One that reflects all of our talents, one that reflects our collective hopes and aspirations, and one that strengthens the ties between India and the United States. And so I close with my favorite saying, which is that yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today's a gift. And that's why we call it the present. I am honored and blessed to be here among all these luminaries from India and the United States to celebrate the future of our community, to celebrate the future of our country, and how together we are going to make India and the United States a better place. And so I thank you so much, and I say God bless you, God bless Omaha, God bless India, and of course, God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.